We are here, Three Count Crew, episode 1. We have Brandon as our first guest. We had the awesome opportunity to watch him wrestle last week. So, Brandon, tell us what you do. Tell us who you are. Give us your spiel, man.
I am Brandon Weiss, the Elder Emo, the Flamingo King, also known as the Fla Emo. Been wrestling for 7+ years. I am one of the trainers over at the Hybrid School of Wrestling, so I manage all those that get in the first ring. All around nerd, cosplayer, and total badass.
Damn right.
Love it. Short and simple. I love it.
Yep. So let's get right into the match you had last week. Like I said before we started, you lost a belt in that match with a pretty odd move. And not only did that belt, like he went to grab you by the waist, your belt explodes. And then he I think it was a suplex that he hit you with that I looked at my brother like that did not go as planned. Like it looked like
It was
he
a
didn't
backdrop
land.
suplex he tried.
Yeah. It looked like it didn't land exactly how it was supposed to. Like I thought you landed on your neck a little bit. So I was like, whoa. Did that happen? Were my eyes right, or did you not even notice and you were just kind of in it?
The belt exploded. I actually thought it was my pants. So here I was like, damn. I was like, there's kids in the crowd. I tore my pants. I was like, my crotch is everywhere. I was like, great. And and Chase he hit me with actually a snap suplex, dragon suplex. So it went as planned. It still sucked. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know because from our angle, it looked like it was you landed a little off. So that leads into my second question before I hand it over to my brother here. Have you ever had a moment in the ring when you had something go not according to plan and you were like, oh shit.
That moment, yeah.
Yeah, did I just hurt something, break something, snap something? Like, have
where
you
you
had
lose
that
feeling
moment
on something and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh shit, this is serious. Like
whether it's
serious
a stinger
kicks in.
or whatever it is, but have you had that moment and how did you react to it in ring?
Yeah, we had a seminar with Chavo Guerrero, and he said no one ever has a perfect match. And he's like, I've never had one in all my career. And he's right. There's always something that happens. But I was actually facing the Kingdom. I was in there with Rob Love. And I was going to do my Lucha spot. So I go through, I jump on the middle rope, I jump up to the top rope. And I do another little jump up, and I do a twisting arm drag. Well, I went up, I jumped, my feet swept out from underneath me. So I'm just like, oh crap. Like I'm watching myself fall and I'm like, there's no way to save this. And like on my way down, I'm looking at Rob, and Rob's over there like, oh no. And next thing you know, like I topple over, I land on my neck and head. And I laid there for a second. It seemed like forever, because you're in that moment and I'm just like, I laid there, I'm like toes, fingers. I was like, I can move my legs. And, as professionals, we come over and we're checking on each other, but at the same time, we're still doing our job. And I was like, I'm good. And he goes, you sure? And I was like, I'm good, I promise. I was like, oh crap. I was like, no, that's like next spot. I was like, we got to keep working. And he's like, yeah, I know. So, as professionals, we kept working together, but it was, hey, I was like, the whole crowd just like, oh my God, we just watched him die. And here I am like, hey, I still got this one stupid move I'm going to do next. Don't worry. I was like...
You're like, don't worry, the car crash doesn't end here. We're good.
Yeah, so like, more. And I'm like, damn, I really done that next stupid spot. But I was like, like I said, we're professionals. We know a job. We know what we have to do. So I'm like, hey, I was like, this is going to get us back on track. So
you mentioned something there really quick. You said you saw yourself falling. Was that like an outer body experience? Because, I mean, wrestlers will talk about when things sometimes are just such an iconic moment or their injury is such devastating to them or so devastating to them, they have that outer body experience. Is that one of those moments, or have you ever had one of those moments?
Luckily, I've never had one of those, but this was not really out of body, but, it's like you're watching
literally were watching yourself fall.
Yeah, it's like
Gotcha.
You're in the superhero movies and you see everything slow down, and they're kind of just like, oh, or like, what was it? Where it's like he's able to pause things and he's sitting there like pushing stuff around, and that's almost what it felt like. I'm falling and I'm just like, I'm looking, I look over, and I'm just like, oh, crap. I'm like, is there anything I can grab? Nope. And I was like, here comes
Okay,
the
yeah. So
canvas.
it's
I'm like, well, let's just.
let's just try to take it as best we can. So it's like,
Yeah.
bro, it's like when someone undercuts you in basketball. When someone undercuts you, you know how you go up for a layup or something and they undercut
That's
you?
fair.
Just-
I
Yeah.
think that's what it's like.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're going
Pretty
down
For
and there's
simple.
me,
You're
nothing
just
you can
going
do but
upside down.
take
You're
the
just,
fall at that point.
for me, I don't. I've never had that moment where I
Yeah.
slow down and I'm like. To me, it's just straight. I'm like a tree. I'm just down. No moments in between. I'm just down. Next thing you know, that's
yeah.
just me
Gravity
though.
just
But
takes
I
over.
mean,
he's a lot more agile than me. So
that's the one
that
that's just like, oh
Yeah.
my God. I was like, is this it? And it seemed like forever, but then I go back and watch it, and it was literally a second. And I just see myself moving. I'm like, oh, damn. I was like, that seemed like a minute or so where I'm laying there. And I'm like, nope. There's like 2 to 3 seconds, and you sure you're okay? Yeah, I'm good. Let's keep going.
nice. I'm glad you were
Yeah.
okay because
So,
that's
Me
scary
too.
from the top rope
yeah.
straight down. But you had
Yeah.
mentioned something because you had mentioned Chavo. We had a chance to meet Chavo. Super great guy, super nice guy, very
Yeah.
knowledgeable.
Yes.
Obviously, coming from his family, and he's still doing it now, which is crazy to me
Yeah, that's
at
surprising.
his age. You had mentioned though he tells you you'll never have a perfect match. I think you've seen, especially us have grown up watching wrestling. We see people like Undertaker, Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, the greats that we watch, talk about how they always search for that match and they get close to it. Like I think Undertaker said, Shawn Michaels, him at the second WrestleMania after their back to back was probably the closest he's ever had to a perfect match. Have you had that perfect match? Is that something you search for as a wrestler? Or talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, you want to have that perfect match. You want that match that everyone's just going to be like, damn, I'm never going to forget this. That's the one you're like, when I think of so and so, that match right there.
Gotcha.
I mean,
Have you had
no
that
issue
yet?
Now,
high.
Have you had that type of match yet?
Not yet. I've had a lot of them where I'm like, that was a really good match. And of course, I'm very hard on myself. So a
Mhm.
lot of them, I'm
yeah.
like, I hate it. And they're like, no, it was a great match. I'm like, no. I was like, I did this and it's terrible and this went wrong. And, luckily I have a very good support system. And they're like, you're being very hard. It was actually a very good match. They're like, even if you did mess up or there was mess ups, like, you guys covered it and no one noticed. I'm like, oh, I know. I know.
It's
I
interesting because I think
noticed
that's
now.
like every athlete's that way with themselves
Yeah.
because they demand the best out of themselves. Because I'm the same way when I play any type of sport. Like you can ask my brother. When we would
Super
lose, I would
competitive.
focus solely on what I did wrong to lose for us,
Mm.
and that's all I would work at for that week straight, just working to make sure I don't make that same mistake.
Oh,
It's
no.
Yeah.
interesting that you have that same mindset in the ring. So, which leads me to the next question I have here. Since how many matches total have you done? Would you say?
I'm not very smart. Uh,
Estimation works. Roundabouts work.
I,
Yeah.
uh,
A ton. Does it
like I
feel like
don't
you've
know
had
how
an
many.
ass ton of matches?
It does, but then at the same time, it doesn't because I was like, oh, it was like, for a while it was every weekend.
Mhm.
Now I've slowed down a little bit, so it's like every other weekend, and I'm okay with that. I'm trying to pick up
Yeah.
more, but it just comes in flux. So I mean, sometimes it's super busy, and I
Yeah.
would say a couple hundred at least.
Nice. The
Yeah.
reason I
Nice.
ask
Now,
is because, like, you hear about all the wear and tear on your body from
mhm.
these very physical matches that you
Yep.
guys put on, and your style especially. So I'm curious to know, like, how does your body feel from when you first started 7 years ago to now, and that progression, especially as we get older? Have you? I'm curious to know what's your training like. Are you doing like you hear about Seth Rollins who does CrossFit? You hear about Biggie who's a bodybuilder, Cena who kind of does a mixture of everything. What is something you kind of picked up and started doing now?
So I actually changed my style. When I first started, I actually wasn't doing a lot of like lucha type stuff. I kept
Really?
it very old school, very 80s, very very simplistic.
Yeah.
And Ricardo Rodriguez, he actually helped me pick up a lot of the lucha. And he's
Okay.
actually like I hit a plateau and I was just kind of stuck. And we are doing weekend trainings. Chris Marvel, the head owner of Hybrids. He's always like genius when it comes to wrestling psychology, wrestling moves, and stuff like that. And he's been working with me, and like so between him and Ricardo, like it was just that aha moment. And I was training with one of my old partners that day, Richie Garcia, and so we were out there doing stuff. And Ricardo's like, "You're gonna do this, and you're gonna get up here." And I don't like heights. That's the funniest thing. I do all these stupid high flying stuff, and I hate heights.
That's funny.
And he's like, "You're going up there," and I'm like, "No." He goes, "You're doing it." So we did it, and like after that day, I don't know what, but it's kind of just like, uh huh.
So he kind of forced you to face that fear, and
it did. So now, like, I even tell everyone when we go to do stuff, I'm like, "Look, I hate this, but I'm going to do it." But as far like, so now it's more wear and tear on the body. But now I started incorporating. I do the acupuncture mat. I have one at home.
okay, nice.
You find them on Amazon. They're amazing. So I do the mat and the pillow, and right before bed, I'll go through. I lay on it. I do some stretches on it, and then I got it's a back massager with a heater, but it's a mobile, so I can wear it to work. I can wear it any other time, so that way I help loosen up my back. I get a good stretch and everything like that. Same thing with neck stretches. I still hit the gym at least 3 to 4 times a week. I'm getting back to where I'm not trying to size up anymore. Now I'm trying to maintain, if not like tone up even more. For the longest time, I wanted to keep that big size, but now I'm like, I'm starting to get up at that age. I can't keep trying to put on all this mass, all this size. I was like, now I just need to play it smart and try to keep my body in best shape as I can. And of course, at the school, we do cardio every Monday, and then we do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday training. So that helps keep me in
Keeps
pretty
your
good shape
conditioning
there.
tight.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
nice.
you
Bro,
talked
did you have a
about
question?
yeah, you talked about bad matches and like bad moments. Have you ever had a moment in a match to do the opposite? Not like a whole match, obviously, but like a spot where you're like, "Holy shit, I'm him!" Like that spot, the crowd reaction. What's a highlight moment for you that stands out that you were like, "Okay, I'm him. This is what I do."
Wait, like refers to like where?
So, like, you know how we grew up watching The Rock doing the people's elbow, and
Oh, yeah.
he's that guy, you know what I mean? Have you ever had that moment in the ring where you do a move, the crowd erupts, and you're like, I'm that guy?
So the first time I actually pulled out my my Lucha arm drag,
Nice.
no one expected it, right? Because no one's really seen me do it. So I've been doing it at training.
Yeah.
I got it, and then finally in the match, I was like, I'm going to do it, and they're like, okay. I'm like, let's do this, and I went and I jumped, and I didn't even do it right. That was the funny part. Like I did like a quick regular arm drag. So in air, usually I jump, I have the arm and I twist. Well, this one, so much adrenaline, I jumped. Well, I kind of did like a front flip with it.
Oh,
And, the guy he took the move, but everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And I'm just like, "Oh my god, I did it!" I was like, "Yeah!" I got up and like, "Yeah!" I was like, "Yeah!" I was like, "Oh yeah, we got to keep going." But like the next time, my ex tag partner, I'm gonna put him in a stretcher next time I see him. But with that chair shot, everyone's like, "Oh, you're a bad guy," blah blah blah. Yeah, you can play a bad guy, but this, when I put the chair to his back and the crowd just like, and it was that moment, like, yeah, I did that. I was like, and you'll know why. And then that's when I've been laying it out. I was like, that's his fault though, not mine.
Yeah.
He's the reason why I did it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Got tired of carrying dead weight. I can respect it.
Man.
You gotta cut what you gotta cut.
I was gonna say every great tag team breaks up eventually. There's always one star. So
yeah.
I don't blame you for doing it. I would have done it too.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he's very good, he's very talented, but if you want to be on top,
there's a price to be paid. There's some tax. Yep. For sure. There's only room for one at the top, not two.
Exactly.
One. You did what you have to. I respect it. Now, what we've talked about your worst moments. We talked about your best moments. Let's talk a little bit about tag teams. How difficult is it to coordinate spots? Because 1-to-1 is one thing, but when you got 4 guys in there, working, hitting their spots, and going from one to the other. And it's not just your mistakes you have to cover up. Now you have 3 other guys in the ring you have to cover if there's an error or if somebody gets injured. How difficult is that as opposed to a one-on-one match?
I actually prefer tags. Tags are easier because you're able to like segment it. You're like, okay, you and you, you and you, me and you, him and him. I'm like, and we always throw in steps. Hey, if something happens, this, right? So you're like, okay, we got landmarks. We know what we want to do. And then with the tag team, you build chemistry, or like right from the get go. I'll say that about Casey. When they first put us together, we weren't a tag at all. We just got out of 2 different tag teams, and they're just like, "Hey, we're putting you guys together," and we're like, "We've never worked together." Like I was like,
"Yeah, how's it
like,
supposed to work?"
I don't know. We just had that, like we synced, and it worked, and like we're just like, "Oh damn, okay." I was like, and then like another good one is Living in Fashion right now with Hybrid School Wrestling, Devin Carter and Sakai. They make it work. They got like it's 2 different styles that are so similar though that they're able to just keep it going in wavelengths. Like they're ones I love going against because I know it's going to be different. There's going to be something that they're going to be like, I want to do this, or I'll be like, I want to do this, and I'll be like, hell yeah, let's do this. And then like, even if something does go sideways, we know that we can both just get right back to it.
So let me ask you, now that we're on the topics of tag teams,
swap out my battery.
I think this is a good time to ask you a question since we're on the topic of tag teams. Who's your Mount Rushmore of tag teams?
Oh, that is actually very good. You know, I grew up WCW, WWE. The Hardys are like they're my pinnacle. And everyone's like, I would love to work on them. I was like, and they're still working right now. I was like, that would still be a dream come true. Like I still laugh because they're like, what, Jeff Hardy? And I'm like, oh, thank you. I was like, you didn't insult me at all. I was like, how dare you?
That's a compliment.
Give me that highest praise right there. I mean,
yeah. So you got the Hardy Boys. Who's your next 3?
Oh, jeez. Edge and Christian are still there. Like, okay. I loved watching that TLC.
Yes.
I would love to say the Dudley Boys, but I watch all their stuff and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to die. I was like, they were so hardcore that I'm like, I was like, you know, even now they're still pretty hardcore. And I'm like, in my day, like, really?
Like, yeah, no. I get you. I get what you're saying.
Last 2. Profits.
Yeah. They are nice. I think people are so underrated and sleeping on them.
They are. And I love it because they are like, everyone's like, oh, well, they're just flips. So I was like, they're not flips. So I was like, they got really good psychology. They work really well. I was like, and yeah, they can do some amazing stuff. And you're just like, damn. I'm like, I want to try this.
Yeah. To me, they're probably the best full package tag team right now because Montez Forrest has charisma for days. Yes. Dawkins is just a beast athletically for a man his size to move, the power he has. Yes. And then you throw that with the agility of Ford, like, oh, man. Easily could be one of the greatest tag teams of all time.
Yes.
If they get the right push. But no, I totally agree with you. That's a nice sleeper pick because a lot of people would have picked that. So who are you going to round it out with now? Your last one.
I'm actually going with Gable and Otis when they were tagging.
Really?
Because it was such an odd chemistry, but they made it work so well. It was power. It was strength. It was pure Greco. It was like you didn't see it. You watched Gable over there throwing people around, right? Then you see Otis throwing people around. Next thing you know, he's doing the worm, and you're like, wait, what the hell? And then now they're over here doing all their different stuff, and you're just like, damn, I didn't expect this. And I was like, that would be a fun one to run with. I was like, because I know that if I got in there with Otis, it would be bang, bang, bang. I got to stay on my feet. I got to avoid him, but he can still move. So you're like, okay, what can I do to try to get him down? Yeah. And then Gable, like, that's a full package. You're like, you're like, what can I do with him? Or what can we do together to get everyone, like, right there?
To me, he's one of the most underrated as well on that roster. That guy can easily be a world champion if they gave him the right push. Like, he can wrestle for days. He makes anybody look good. He's like a Kurt Angle, second Kurt Angle. Like,
I'm going bold. He is like the modern Dean Malenko. Dean
ooh,
was very, very overlooked,
Oh,
but he
Dean
was so,
Malenko.
so good. And like,
yeah,
it didn't matter who you put him with,
Yeah.
it was going to be a great match. And that's,
yeah,
I feel they do that with him. No matter who
yeah.
he goes with, great. Lucha,
Every
hey, he's
everybody
showing.
knew. Yeah, that comes in, they test him with Gable. I've noticed as
Yeah,
of late. Everybody they start to push, and I'm like, bro, you're missing the opportunity for Gable, man. Like he's right there. Like just give him that push, and the fans will
yeah.
be right behind
Yeah.
him
I mean, the
easily.
fact that they trust him so much, though. Hey, we
Yeah,
got a new guy coming in. Bam! I'm like, that is like they're like, we see you. Now they just need to pull the trigger on it and get him going.
no, I agree. I agree. Now,
Yep.
I was going to say that correlates to you because you mentioned your first ring now. Have you noticed that they give you that nod? With you now that you're the elderman, if you will, do they every newbie coming in? They're like, "Hey, go work with Brandon first."
Yeah. So for a while, we had it where your first match was against one of the grads, and we had it where there was only a handful of
Mm.
grads there at the time. So either you worked me, or you worked my old tag partner Richie, or you got key vibes. And so that was like, hey, this is you're gonna go out and have a match, and we'll see how you do. And if you do really good, we're gonna give you a couple more matches. And then that's when Marvel's like, hey, you're able to work safely. You look great. You know what you're doing. You're confident. I can put you out there and know that you're gonna do great. And that's when it was, all right, he's good to go.
Nice. Okay. How does that make you feel giving that seal of approval to him and be like, "Hey, Marv, he's good." Like,
It feels great. Like I had to laugh because I'm like the old man there because I'm like I was like, damn, I remember when you had your first match. I was like, I remember. I was like, your first match. I was like 75%. He'd be like, what? And then bam, and he'd be like, oh, and I'm like, don't worry. I was like, that's only a practice match. He's like, what? But, I mean, it's great though because you're seeing all these people now, and you're like, wow. I was like, I got to be. I'm gonna toot my own horn here. Ren Sinclair, Maddie Rinkowski, first match. And
Nice.
Marvel like he gave enough trust where he's like, "Hey, you guys are gonna have this match." He's like, "Go out
mhm.
here." He's like, "You're gonna do a promo, do the match. It's gonna go well." And I was like, "Okay." And we made it work. And I mean, she's like, "I'm nervous." I was like, "You're nervous." I was like, "I'm nervous." I mean,
You're like, "I'm nervous. What are you talking about?"
well, like she had that factor. She had that
Yeah.
it factor, and you could tell like right off the bat when you first met her. We always told her I was like, "It won't be long." I was like, "You're gonna be signed." I was like, "You have it." And like even from the beginning, yeah, they're like, "Oh no, she's too green." I'm like, "No, no." I was like, "She's gonna be a big thing." And we all said it. Like everyone knew. Marvel's already like, he's like, you got this now. Work on this and this and this, and look at her now. She's over there killing it. I mean, soon, hopefully, main roster. And
Yeah. Hopefully,
Yes.
she's nice. She's gotten better from when she first debuted as well.
yeah,
You can tell she's putting into work to learn,
Mhm.
and sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes you have that package of, "Hey, I got the mic skills, I got the personality, and the wrestling will come as long as you work on it." You know what I mean, or vice versa.
yeah.
So
And I mean, I'll give it to her because she was always there. She was
mhm,
early,
nice.
and late. It was, hey, I want to do this, or I need to know about this, or how can I get into this? And Marvel's over there, and he's just like, well, why don't you do this and this? I'm like, because I don't think like that. That's why. That's why. But like, and you make it sound so easy, and we just all started laughing, and I was like, damn. But yeah, she put in the work, and there's a lot of them now that like I look at them, I'm like, you kids. I was like, I call them kids. I'm like, you guys are young. I was like, you
Yeah.
guys. I was like, keep working hard. I was like, keep pushing those diets. I was like, keep doing everything. I was like, some of you guys are gonna have really big futures. So I was like, you just gotta. I was like, and stay humble, stupids. And they start laughing. I'm like, no, seriously though.
Yeah, stay humble
I was
for
like, I
real.
was like, but
Yeah, you
yeah,
don't want to
there's gonna
get
be a
in your own
lot. There's gonna
way.
be a big boom.
Yeah.
Next year or so, it's gonna be like,
That's awesome. Yeah, you
yeah,
definitely don't want to get in your own way with an ego and big head and cost yourself an opportunity because you thought you were hot shit and
exactly,
you pissed off the wrong person or you failed to execute properly. And now because of your ego, you don't get the shot to the next spot. So
exactly.
that's great advice. That's great advice to stay humble.
And so Let me ask you this question. So, is there somebody now that you guys are training that you feel has the same it factor as her that you see, and you're like, "Ooh, that kid's got it."
Let's. There's a lot. So Calentita, she's one of them. I think she's on her first or second year, but I mean,
Damn.
already she's like she's turning it up. And I remember when she first came, and I started laughing at her because she's like, "I want to do this." I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I
Yeah, a
guess we're
lot of
gonna see.
people
I was like,
say
you
they
better
want
keep
to
it.
do it. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I tell them. I was like, a lot of people say this is my dream, and after like the first month, they give up, and I'm like, well, it's not your dream,
When
then,
they're
right?
broke and ain't got no money, they're like, "Okay, maybe I don't want to do this." It's
And a
like,
lot of them don't know the
no.
sacrifice, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't think I was like, yeah, we had a show last night. It ended at 11. We're back here at 7:30 in the morning because we got to load the trailer up and take it to another place." And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "It's gonna be another long night." I was like,
They don't get that. It's a
"Yeah,
traveling show. It's city to city, and the energy has to be there for every performance. Like you can't phone it
exactly.
in. It's a live show every night. It's not where you can kind of phone it into a camera. It's a live show every
Yeah,
time
you're
you do
there.
your
You got to
thing.
put up, and you got to do it."
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's insane, man. That's great
Yeah.
advice that they got to keep
Um,
doing it.
Key vibes. She's another one. A lot of people like, "Oh yeah, she's good." I was like, "No," I was like, "She has a lot to do it." And I was like, "And she can. It's just it'll happen." I was like, I feel it. I'm like, I've been with her for the past like 7 years, and I've
Wow.
seen the progress, and I'm like, damn. I was like, she's really good.
Mhm.
We have two new kids that are ridiculous. Like every day, I'm like, I hate you guys. I was like, you're lucky I'm not 16 or 18. Brock Ali is one of them, and then Jalen, Valentino, something Valentino. But they're just starting out. They just had their first match, but these kids have been like
I was gonna say, I think we saw them, bro. I think they were the first match that we saw.
very first. That was their debut match,
Really?
and like
I
you
couldn't
watch that
tell.
match, and you're like, yeah, I can see where you guys are still green, but I was like, you guys just make it look like
The
nothing. I'm like,
athleticism is there. The
I was
youth,
gonna
the
say,
exactly,
athleticism
yes.
is just there.
It
I
was
hated it.
effortless to them,
yeah,
but
Yeah.
the spots and some of the storytelling through the movement, you could tell they're still working to
oh
learn
yeah,
that part. But yeah, no, I see what you're saying with them because yeah, we saw their match and they were just so athletic,
They were
so
all
quick.
over that goddamn ring.
Yeah,
I know. They're like,
I
what
got
you
tired
think?
just
Like,
watching.
I got to rewatch it because like you guys did a lot, and they started laughing. I was like, you guys did really good though. I was like, listen to that crowd. I was like, Coach gave you guys a lot of good feedback. I was like, he told you what you guys need to work on. They're like, yeah, and I was like, and it was much. They're like, no, it wasn't too bad. I
Yeah,
was like, good job, guys. I was like, now don't let it go to your heads. I was like, keep
Stay
working. They're like,
humble.
we will. And they're like,
yeah,
Yeah, because
stay
you're
for
gonna
humble.
sure,
fuck up. You're
for
gonna
sure.
fuck up. Like coming off a high of
Yeah.
your first match being a good match can set you up because the next one you could have a fuck
Oh
up,
yeah.
and now you have to deal with the swinging back and forth of like having a great match and now having a shit match, and
See,
realizing
I
that the
think this.
reality is,
Well, I think we set it up really good because at the school with your advanced and graduate ring, they do practice matches every night. So
Mm.
everyone, so you practice singles matches, you
mm-hmm.
practice tag matches, and then we do multi-man. So you'll have a 3-on-3, a 4-on-4. Be like, hey, it's free for all. That
Yeah,
way, hey, you got to get used to this. You gotta. That way, if they ever be like, hey, we need a 3-on-3 tonight, and they group three people together. Hey, I'm used to this. I can work with anyone because
That's
we
smart.
we always mix it up, and I
Yeah,
think that is one of the greatest great things about hybrid is that yeah, you're getting all this, and then we still throw in the promos. You're still getting your conditioning. You're still working on your move sets and your characters and stuff like that. So it's like the complete package. I mean, I'm gonna hype it up till the day I die because like you don't find anywhere like this.
I was gonna say that's coming from people that actually care about wrestling as a whole.
Yes.
Because, like you said, business owners they won't think about those little small things because they're like, hey, this is what you're paying for, this is what you're getting. In most wrestling schools, you guys are focused on hey, those small details to
Hmm.
prepare them for the next step of the journey that hopefully they get a chance to go on with those who have that opportunity. So that's amazing to hear that it's not just a business. It's you guys are actually focused on the craft itself,
We are.
which
We
is
had
like you
Gabe
said, very
Sapolsky.
rare.
Yeah.
Very rare nowadays because like I can think of only one other wrestling school that I know of that's kind of similar to that, but even then they don't go to that extreme. So that's crazy that you guys do that, and that's amazing, man.
It is. I
Shout out to
mean,
you guys.
it's good because you got Marvel, you got Don Juan, which he's in charge of character development, promos, and then of course helps with matches and stuff like that. You got
Mhm.
Sho Funaki, I mean WWE legend there, and
Love me
he's
some
teaching the
show.
intermediate, and he goes over, and you're just like advanced people are like, hey, I wanted this and this. They're like, oh, okay, he's like, try this or do this, and you got all this knowledge pooled in one area, and you're just like, damn, and you're like,
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's going
it's
to make some
crazy.
great
Yeah,
talent coming out of there. Y'all guys are doing great work, amazing stuff. What well, to wrap it up? What do you want? What's coming up next? What are you excited about in the near future? Is there the next show coming up? Something you're looking forward to? What do you got going?
So a couple shows coming up. You got Mania 5, which
Yes.
I get to go against Hit. And I've never gotten a singles match with them. So I'm like, you big, ugly looking turd. I was like, I can't wait to get in the ring with you. And
nice.
so, I mean, we've only done a tag match before.
Yeah,
And it's
Uh-huh.
very limited interaction. But I was like, no, no. I was like, now it's me and you. And
Yeah.
his potential as well is he's another one of those that, like, his stock is just rising. And he's going to be up for good things too. Because I mean, nice guy, humble guy, hard worker, and it shows. Like you see him getting on AEW, you see him getting those spots with like WWE and stuff like that. And you're just like, damn, good for him. I mean, that's
yeah.
Heck
good.
yeah.
So that one I'm excited for.
Nice.
RCW, of course, I know Casey is finally going to answer my call and quit being a little chicken, and we'll settle some things there. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's the one I want to be
Heck
at.
yeah.
Yeah,
That one
that
should be fun.
that'll be good. I told him anytime, anything he wants, I was like, I'll put him down. So,
I love
Nice.
it. I love
I'll
the
be there cheering
confidence,
you
man.
on. I love the heels more than the baby faces, so
I mean,
I'm there.
I liked being baby. I love it. I mean, but at the same time, I was like, everyone's
Villains
like,
have more fun, man.
yeah, I was like, I like making kids cry. That's my thing. I was like, if
Dude,
I don't make a kid cry, I didn't do my job.
I was gonna say I saw you interact with that kid as he came out in
Oh,
your
I
Oh, I
took it
match.
love
easy
it,
on them.
man.
That one got
It
off
was
easy.
hilarious. It was hilarious to see. I was like, "That's a true heel right there."
I
Yep.
had 3 in one night. I was going for the fourth one. I was like, come on. I was like, give me one more. I was like, I need one
Give
more.
me waterworks.
And
Yeah.
That's
they,
hilarious.
that kid was right there, and I was like, you little turd. I was like, you better cry. I'm gonna beat up your grandpa right now. And he's just like, I was like,
Nice.
"Mm."
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So,
that's
oh
that's
man,
awesome, man. So where can the people find you? Where can they get information about you, information about hybrid? Where do they follow you?
All right, so Hybrid School Wrestling, you can find them on any platform at Hybrid SOW. Great place to check out. Come train. Even if you're already a talent and you're out there, you can still. We have people swing by all the time. You never know who's going to walk in. That's a great thing. You can find me on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Brandon Vice. Same with Threads. X is Havoc. That's HAVOK 1775. And then Brandon Vice at Blue Sky. I'm trying this new thing here. We'll see how that works. And of
Yeah.
course, for my fellow nerds and cosplayers, I have a Flamazing cosplay page, and you can find us at Brandalorian. And you'll see a bunch
Yes.
of our fun cosplays and cosplay wrestling. So,
Yeah.
nice.
yeah.
Yeah. Super
I like it. An
talented.
array of social media. And I think that's
Yeah.
what you need nowadays. Is an array of
Hmm.
social media to grow that following. So that's
Yes.
Yep.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Well, thanks, man, for being our first. Thanks for being the first one on the show.
Oh,
Yeah, be sure to follow Brandon, guys. We'll be back with another individual here. Do you have one last thing you want to say?
definitely.
Don't want to cut you off.
Thanks a lot for having me on the show. It's been a pleasure. To the people that don't like me, go kick rocks. And to those that do like me, I'll see you in the pit.